Welcome to the Atomic Impact Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Osborne. And on this podcast, we interview successful business owners for them to share atomic, impactful lessons that they've learned throughout their business career. And as always, this show is sponsored by the LinkedIn Reverse Podcast Method, the new way to close deals that doesn't rely on any of the old traditional methods that everybody hates. We use this method to book 26 qualified leads and sales calls in 10 days without any ad spend, outreach, or endless social media posting. To find out more, direct message me on LinkedIn to have a chat. That's Jason A. Osborne on LinkedIn, and that will be in the show notes below as well. For today's show, our special guest is Terry Wildemann. I hope I just said that right because I did ask her how to say her last name. She is the founder of Intuitive Leadership, powered by Shiftology, where she helps high achievement entrepreneurs, executives, and professionals shift from overwhelm to self-sabotage into clarity, confidence, and aligned leadership, which is absolutely brilliant. So, Terry, welcome to the show. And I want to ask you a question I love always starting off with, and it's this. If you had a time machine and you were able to go back to when you started your very first business, what's the number one piece of advice that you would give yourself?
That's a great question because I started in business. I had my very first business when I was 18 years old,
Mm,
and I was in college, and I had
yeah.
no idea what I was doing at all. And it was a network marketing type thing that I ended up doing. And I think a lot of it is I hadn't thought about that in a long time. Um, I was in two different network marketing companies. One was okay, one I didn't get, and I didn't really, like I said, I didn't understand what I was doing. But what I realized was I loved the product and I loved teaching about the product. And over the years, as my business evolved, I was done with that a long time ago, but this specific business is about 35 years old now. Um, I love, if you don't love what you do, it's hard to be able to perform and do and help others in a way that is really impactful. It's so important to love what you do. And that's from the age of 18, that very first job. That's what I learned. I learned that I had to love the work that I do because if I didn't, it just gets too hard. It doesn't feel good.
Yeah. So loving what you do in your business.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What are some key elements? So, all right, I was gonna ask something, but I'm gonna reframe it. Oftentimes people hear follow your passion, follow your passion, follow your passion in what you do in business. And I see so many business owners trying to follow their passion when really there's no need in the market for that. And or there's not the money to make. People might need it, but they just don't have the money to pay for it based on what that passion might
Yeah,
be.
that happens a lot.
It does. It does. So when you say love what you do, how can you balance that with an actual good profitable business where sometimes the passion they have may not actually translate directly into a profitable business?
Well, it's important to look at your passion from a 360 perspective. You have to look at it from the 30,000-foot view to see
Mm,
where that passion fits, and also at ground level to see where it is in the moment. And when you look at it from both directions, you often get the answers on how to infiltrate your passion doing other things that you would not have necessarily have thought of. So, it's one thing to have this tunnel vision, this is my passion. But when we put those blinders on, it literally blocks any other opportunities that we have to incorporate our passion into something that is truly profitable and provides the opportunities that we need to really work with our passions. You're so right. There are so many people who are doing their passion, doing their passion, doing their passion, and they're broke. They're broke. However, once you take those blinders off and look at different ways to to do it differently. It doesn't have to be the way you think it is. Do things differently. A lot of us don't like change.
mm,
We get stuck in this path that there's only one way to do it, but it goes like this. This is the
yeah.
way it rocks and rolls. And you may find that a new opportunity is going to elevate your passion even more if you just get out of your own way.
I love that. I love that. for people that are struggling with that, maybe they are even in business and they the years have gone by, maybe the excitement of the business isn't there as much, and they're wanting to find the outlet of their thing they love, the passion. What's some advice on how to actually tap into that without just closing up shop and trying to restart over and like, oh, that was a big mistake?
Well, full transparency, Jason, I was in that space recently.
Okay.
Okay, full transparency. I
Yeah.
just got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm done. And a lot of it was we were having one tech issue after another, after another, after another, after another. And I'm in the process of getting certified I'm in the middle of a certification program, and I've been procrastinating on getting it all done. And what I realized was I wasn't in love with my business anymore because
Mm,
of the procrastination over here. And once I really identified it and understood and started journaling to write what the challenges were, I realized that if I let go of what was happening over here and focused on my passion of getting this certification done, everything else was going to fall into place. And that's exactly what I did. And all of a sudden, I started getting contracts and people saying, it just all boom
yeah.
exploded because I got out of my own way. So that was a great question. I had to fall back in love with what I really wanted to do, what I really am meant to be doing. And suddenly everything just, it's all energy. Everything is energy. And when you
Mm.
get out of your own way, things start to emerge the way they're meant to.
I love that. I love that. So you've had to re-fall back in love with what you did and reconnect with that. That's really powerful.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And again, it was very recent.
Yeah.
Sort of
Yeah.
freaked my team out.
Yeah.
Like, well, what do you mean you're ready to walk away from your business? It's like if one more tech issue happens, I'm walking away. And again, full transparency here because it was 3 weeks of just what is the message here?
Mm,
And all of a sudden this week, it was this week, by the way, everything fell
wow.
into place. And it's like, okay, I'm in a good space. It's all back.
Mm. That's amazing, though. That's amazing, and it's great that you're being very open with that as well, because I think that's something really important. Is as business owners, we're always going through challenges here and there. Some are small challenges, some are really big challenges, and
Yeah.
it's great to be able to share something that's quite new or relevant, or at least recent, and it's great.
Well, I think people in general, or business owners, entrepreneurs, they're scared to show their weakness. And the challenge for me is that it's not a weakness. This is a strength to
Yeah.
be able to acknowledge that as an executive coach, as a coactive coach, I'm a heart math coach. I'm all about stress management and working with burned out leaders to help them shift from who they are to who they're meant to be. It's all
Mm,
about self-evolution, evolution, 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 and shedding what no longer works. And
yeah.
all of us, I don't care who you are, all of us go to that space. So we have a choice to either stick in our little box and allow those walls to control us or knock the walls down and take a good look at what's going on around us. And that's what I had to do. I had to get past that. Why am I allowing all this other stuff to get in the way? And
Mm,
again, it was all energy, and honestly, it was a fear of letting go of who I was in my business to step into who I know I'm meant to be. And it was very scary because who I'm meant to be with this new certification is going to just boom, explode my business in a very different way. So I
yeah.
procrastinated. And it came out in the journaling that I was doing, which I teach leaders to do, that little hidden nugget came out, and I was like, oh, of course. You know?
Mm. Yeah, that's really interesting. What did it come from, a place of fear or something like that on why you were procrastinating?
Absolutely. Absolutely, it came from fear. And the thing is with fear, again, everything is energy. Fears affects your cells. Fear affects every single cell in your body. And
Mm.
all of a sudden, my whole body just started getting inflamed again. And I'm like, what is happening here? And it was the fear of stepping into who I'm meant to be and what I'm meant to be doing in this next chapter of my life. And I owned it this week. And ironically, things feel really good. Everything is just falling into space, into place. It's like every day I'm getting another client, another thing is landing with me. And because I'm so what's the word I want to use? I'm a holistic practitioner also. I
Mm.
merge the practical, tactical, and logical with the emotional, the energetic, the spiritual, and the intuitive is huge. That's
Okay.
what I do. But when we live in the practical, tactical, and logical sides of our world, we're not listening. We're not listening to that spiritual and intuitive side, which often is prodding and prodding and prodding. And as good as I am at teaching other people, I ended up having to look at myself and realize that I was being prodded a lot. I was ignoring it.
Yeah, yeah. Which I think leads on to a really important thing for I think everyone just in life, but particularly business owners, is being able to be self-reflective on what they're going through and um, not let that pride or ego, because they're the leader, they always have to be right and all that, but just realizing, okay, well, actually, I'm just going through something and getting that help. Is there any tips or ideas around that topic that might be able to help people out?
Well, it's interesting that you brought up the word ego because uh, a lot of us have big egos. And when that big ego controls us versus our inner heart, our what I call the inner CEO. The inner
Mm,
CEO is congruent with the head brain and the heart brain. We
mm,
have two brains. And when we breathe into our heart, we're actually in a very coherent space. And our ego is not a bad thing, by the way. It's what you
yeah,
do with your ego that gets you into trouble or helps you.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And when you're coherent in connecting the brain and the head with the brain and the heart, and you allow the answers to come, the ego part can actually be really good at directing and driving you to exactly where you're meant to be. So, but when we get into that egotistical place of, I have all the answers and I know what I'm doing, and God forbid anybody hold the mirror up to me because I'm in control, that's when we get ourselves into trouble. And recently I had that happen with somebody who was coaching me actually. And I mentioned that this, and this, and they're like, oh well, blah 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 blah. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. This is very interesting. And they didn't want to see the mirror. They didn't want to hear
Mm,
the words. They didn't want to see what was going on. And that's when I
yeah,
went, okay, this person has to get out of their own way, or they're not going to be able to coach people the way they really believe that they are coaching people.
yeah,
Does that make
yeah.
sense?
100%, absolutely. Yeah, like everything you've said is just really aligned really nicely on um, looking at those things, following the thing that you love, realigning that, the fear associated with that, like everything is just absolutely amazing. So, well, over the next 1 to 2 years, what are your goals with the business? What are you wanting to achieve?
Well, everything I teach is about change. And we are in the process of actually, the first one is coming up in November, the Unlock the Power in You retreats for leaders, high achieving
Mm,
leaders, whether you're a CEO, whether you're a professional, high achieving leaders. And the goal is to get rid of the self sabotage to be the best leader that you can possibly be. We are in a space right now where leadership, really good, solid, grounded leadership, is needed in many ways. And over the next couple years, it's about doing these retreats at least 4 times a year. It's only for 12 people. It's not
mm,
a big thing. It's only for 12 people because I work very closely with them to help them release the emotional baggage that holds them back from the success that they're looking for. And I'm certified in emotion code and body code. So it allows me to clearly release a lot of the baggage that they've been carrying. One of my recent clients is an attorney, and we've been working together, and she's like, I've never felt so grounded and settled in my entire life because we
Mhm.
released so much stuff that she's had since she was a little girl, actually. And she didn't have to relive it. It's just the work that, emotion code and body code helps you get rid of stuff very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Also, in working with change management, leaving behind who you are to be who you are meant to be and calling that person towards you. That's all part of the process in this retreat. So that
Mm.
you can be the amplifier, you can be the influencer that really helps to magnify the skill sets of your teams, the skill sets of the people who are your clients, to help those who you are leading to be the best version of themselves because you are becoming the best version of yourself.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Well, Terry, if people want to find out more about what you do, what's the best place for people to do that?
My website, intuitiveleadership.com, is the best way to find it. There's a little contact sheet there. They can get in touch with me there. I'm also on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. Just type Terry Wildemann and then you'll find me everywhere.
Amazing, amazing. Well, Terry, thank you so much for being on the show. It's been a privilege having you on. And as a reminder for everyone, this show is sponsored by the LinkedIn Reverse Podcast Method, the new way to close deals that doesn't rely on any of the old traditional methods that everybody hates. To find out more, direct message me on LinkedIn to have a chat, and that will be in the show notes below as well.